Hi, welcome back to Cotton Creation. So today I'm bringing you another vegan recipe, and this one is one of those recipes that make you feel warm and fuzzy in the cooler season. So since we're in that fall winter season, I thought it'd be great to share this with you. And I think this might even be more like a southeastern type of dish, because I find that not many people in LA have even heard of it. And it is chicken and dumplings, but of course I'm going to veganize it. I am using my mom's dumpling recipe while I'm veganizing her recipe. So if you're interested, stay tuned. But before we hop into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the next awesome video. Let's hop into it.
Alright, so I don't have my typical here's what you need for this video, but here's a few of the ingredients as far as the vegetables goes. Some carrots chopped up and some celery, and then I'm going to be using some king oyster mushrooms, and this is my process for shredding them. I just take a fork and I just shred the thick part of the mushroom first, so that to me I call that the white meat. And it shreds really nicely, pretty easily. And once all of that is shredded up, then I just continue to shred the top part, the cap of the mushroom, and that is what I call the dark meat, because it kind of resembles the dark meat of chicken. So that's the first thing that I do, and then I'll continue to show you guys what's next. Alright, so now that all my mushrooms are shredded, I'm going to move on to the dumplings. I'm going to add some flour, some baking powder, and some salt. And I'm just going to give that a nice whisk. You could also sift it. Whichever way you want to do it is fine. And then to that, I'm going to add some cold butter, just chopped up into pieces. And you could take a pastry cutter and blend this together, or you can do it old school like me and just do it by hand. And what you want to do is break that butter into your flour mixture. And if you've been following my page for a while, you know I got to use my glove just to keep the hands clean. And then to that, I'm going to add some cold vegan milk just to blend everything together. And once you finish kneading the dough, it should look like this once you are done. Next, we're going to go ahead and roll the dough out, and what you want to do is put down some flour on your area that you're going to use. I like to dab my dough in the flour and then just spread the flour all over the area that you're going to be rolling your dough out in. And that way, you want some flour on the dough so it doesn't stick to your rolling pin and it's easier to roll out. And if you find that there's areas that are sticking, feel free to just add a little bit of flour to it. Don't be afraid of flour being on the dough, because that's actually going to help to thicken up our broth for the chicken and dumplings. So you want to definitely make sure that your dough is rolled out nice and thin. My mom was always a stickler about making sure your dumplings were nice and thin. So I'm going to show you in just a second how thin you should go. But once it's rolled out, just take a pizza cutter or a knife and just try to cut straight lines. Cut them into rectangles. Don't do like me. My lines you're about to see aren't that straight. So this is how thin your dumplings should be, because once we put them in the broth, they are going to thicken up a little bit. So you don't want them too thick beforehand. So this is about the thickness that you want. Like I said, they're super thin. And from here, we're going to go ahead and and get our broth going. So to your pot, you want to add a little bit of oil and some chopped garlic or minced garlic. And to that, we're going to just add in our other vegetables, the celery and the carrots. And we're going to go ahead and sweat all that until it is a little bit translucent. And then we're going to add in our water and our, I'm using a vegan chicken flavored broth today. And I get this broth from my local Asian market, but you can use any one. Better Than Bouillon has a vegan chicken flavored broth, and then there's a few others that I've used on my channel, so anyone that you want you can use. Then we're going to add some garlic powder, some onion powder, some black pepper, and some pink Himalayan sea salt, and we're just going to give that a stir. And we're going to put the lid on our broth and let that come up to a boil before we actually add in the dumplings. So now that it's going at a rolling boil, it's now time to go ahead and add the dumplings in. You want to add these in one at a time, and they will begin to float up to the top. If they don't float, then something's wrong with the dough. But they should be floating, and you want to make sure, like I said, that your pot was doing a rolling boil before you start adding in your dumplings. Now that we've added all the dumplings, we're going to go ahead and give that a nice stir, and then we're going to also add in our mushrooms, put the lid back on, and let this continue to cook until your dumplings are done. For those of you that are new to my channel, you can find my recipes in the description box down below of this video. There's a link and it has all the details for you. So again, if you need the recipe, it is in the description box of this video. And after you add your mushrooms, you want to stir everything together. And like I said, we're going to put that lid back on, let everything cook, making sure that the dumplings are done. Now, as you can see, it did start to thicken up some, but it's still not thick enough. And that was from the flour that was on the dough. So to thicken this up, I'm just going to do a flour slurry, which you just pretty much take flour and water and make a thin slurry. And then you want to, while stirring constantly, you want to add that in to thicken it up. And you want to continue to let it cook for about 3 to 4 minutes. Okay, so our vegan chicken and dumplings is done. Yum. So let's go ahead and plate this. So as you can see, those king oyster mushrooms look very close to chicken, shredded chicken in this dish. I love it. And it's just so warm and delicious. It's so amazing. If you've never had chicken and dumplings, like, you need to try this dish because, oh my gosh, it gives all the feels. Especially on a cold, cool day, this is the one, not the two.
All right, so what do you guys think of this recipe? It actually was super quick. I don't know why I thought for some reason it was going to take a long time, but I guess because we're not cooking actual chicken, like, everything cooks pretty fast, so you don't have to, you know, labor in the kitchen for too long with this dish. It tastes amazing. Like, oh my gosh, if you've never had chicken and dumplings, please make sure you try it. And also too, so I tried to steer away from a lot of like meat substitutes. Of course, you know, I'll use them here and there, but that's why I decided to go with the king oyster mushroom for my chicken substitute and just shred that, which worked out great. But if you actually want to use like a chicken substitute, you absolutely can. There's daring chicken. You could also, another trick you can do, if you find like a breaded chicken substitute that you like, you can actually remove the breading from it and then just, you know, dice it up or however you want to do it, and use that as your substitute. So there's lots of different options that you can do. You can also do jackfruit as well. just some ideas for you. But let me know what you guys think of this recipe down in the comment section down below. If you like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more videos like this, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. Thanks for watching.